and this is why we're late.
We're back again.
Can't hold us down.
No, and I'm having a Diet Coke, finally.
Fridge sig.
A fridge sig. Our kids are all asleep, so here we are recording.
Praise God.
A day late.
I'm actually missing the third period of the Ducks game for this.
I know.
I just want
because we can't stay up late because we're just too tired.
I want you
We've
to
had a
know
long
where
week.
my commitment level is.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
This is my love language to you.
And to all of you guys that are listening, watching. We're getting used to doing video, but I feel like it's fun to actually see us chat and talk and hang for a while. Today's a big one, and it took an extra day for me to feel prepared because one of the things that we wanted to talk about, but we really wanted to get our words around and our brains around, was discipline. I have a lot of things that I think hit home for me when I think about parenting and like how I was raised and who I was raised by and all the things like that. I'm still working that stuff out, I think, and what gets to stay and what I would like to not use. And I feel like a lot of my friends and our friends are navigating how do they discipline their kids in the world that we live in now, because it's very different than what our parents were up against. And so I've been doing a lot of research, which I know that you love to hear. I share with you all the things that I learned.
I don't do the research.
So
I allow you to do the research, and then you provide that research to me. And then
I share a version that's like palatable for you. Yeah. But I have a lot of conversations with my therapist about how we're raising our kids. And I think not that I'm fearful of I'm not fearful of raising them. I'm fearful of getting it wrong. I'm fearful of me getting in the way of them being raised in a home that's healthy and safe and all the things. And so I feel like I have a lot of thoughts on all of that, and I'm still working it out, but I wanted to give everybody an honest picture of how do we discipline our kids? How do we discipline boys versus girls? How do we discipline with a lot of eyes watching us because we're involved at church, we've been in leadership roles, we've had different jobs and different people that have watched us raise kids. We're getting older as our kids are getting older, and so we're learning a lot. And I feel like one of the things that I'm interested in a lot is my upbringing informs how I'm parenting my kids. And so I want to get into that. I don't know who wants to go first, but I think maybe you can share. We were both born in the 90s, and that was quite a time. It was before. Bless. I know the 90s was such a fun time. I don't think I'm the nostalgia has hit now where things are turning 30 years old, and I'm oh, whoa, that's crazy. So yeah, you're 2 years older than me, so you're born in 1991.
You can't say that out loud.
And I was born in 1993, and we have siblings I have one above me, and then you have siblings below you. So we're kind of all over the map in terms
How
of
old is Uncle Taco?
31. Yeah, he's 2 years younger
Taco,
than me.
if you're not 31.
Yeah, so we have siblings across a lot of ages, and generationally, we're the last piece of the millennial generation, which is wild. I think it ends in 96. I'll have to fact check that. If I'm wrong,
this is not good. This hurts me just to listen
just to hear me say it.
Hear how old we are. Yeah.
Well, here we are talking about it. So if we were looking back at Daniel going through 1991 to 1999 until you were 8 years old, what do you remember about growing up in the household that you grew up in?
Well, it was just me and my brother. So I didn't have the dynamic that you had when or what we're dealing with right now of having boys and girls, right? It was just me and my brother. So a lot of the days it was just Street Fighter. It was just...
You guys are very rough.
Extremely rough. And it was in a time where the cool thing for the modern boy was, UF and, Airsoft came out. That was cool. And
your parents let you watch
WrestleMania?
I did not. I have no interest even now of getting into that.
It helps having a mom who is disabled, because I got away with a lot. And I'm not
share with the people that may not know your mom.
So yeah, my mom is, God bless her, she has been blind since, oh gosh, she had a brain tumor when she was 6, and it ended up, she was in a coma it's a crazy testimony. She was in a coma for a few years and came out of it and got everything back except her vision, and took her visions. She's a walking testimony and just a miracle in itself. So she is my mom. And then My dad, kind of the same boat. As far as like disability, he had epilepsy his whole life. So we dealt with a lot of hospital visits, pretty much grew up in the hospital, just going with him on just routine stuff.
How early do you remember that part of knowing your parents were not normal, not normal in a disrespectful sense, but
no,
different.
Super early.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of, I had to learn, gosh, when I was just a couple years old, like just how to, like the basics, how to dial 911 on a landline.
So wild.
And I remember, I mean, I don't want to get into trauma or anything, but like, dealing with a lot of it wasn't my mom. I mean, my mom was blind, but she was still able to function and, be a mom and like do all those things. My dad was the scary one because epilepsy. If you've ever seen anybody go into having a seizure, it's the worst because you can't do anything. You have to literally just make sure they're okay and they're not harming themselves. But they don't know what they're doing and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So yeah, being, 2, 3, 4 years old and knowing the paramedics because they were at our house all the time, like that was a trip. But that didn't stop me and my brother from being rebellious.
Yeah. I feel like if anything, you guys had a little bit more freedom. Maybe freedom's not the right word, but like there was a lot going on at your house.
We were, what's a good way to put this? The advantage of certain situations because we can get away with it. Was it right? No, but hey, we were kids, and you don't tell me you're the perfect child and you wouldn't do the same.
I think everyone can be guilty of taking advantage, for sure.
But I mean, just the typical household, just me and my brother. We were into sports, so we were either outside until the street lights came on, and it was dinner time.
What a different time.
Oh my gosh,
it's a real thing. I heard my dad whistle, and I knew it was time to come home.
Yeah. I mean, that was the norm back then, right? Mm-hmm. But it was very rough in the house, and it was. I mean, we and my brother weren't just hating each other and picking fights. I mean, there's all love there, but it was, when you're, and I'm learning this with Coop again, when you're a young boy in that age range, there's a lot of testosterone flowing through.
Now we know what to call it.
And, you look at a little boy, for example, and you're like, man, you can chew through steel right now. Like what, this doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. It's because their body's going through changes that are at its peak.
And then times up by 2 boys.
Yeah,
in your
just
house.
lifestyle. Yeah, exactly. So we had our fair share of battles, and I can probably walk you through my mom's house right now and show you the scars. And she still got a dent on the washer from my brother's head when I pile drived it into it. Yeah, I mean we didn't leave any rock unturned. We were boys and we did boy stuff, and a lot of the times we paid the piper on it too. But it was.
What did that look like with your parents? We've talked about it a lot, but just like quickly share when there was consequences that would come from behavior, fighting, whatever it was. Yeah. What did that look like?
Immediate action, I think, for my dad. It was my mom really didn't jump into it because half the time she's
brilliant.
she just avoided it. My mom used to literally just turn her hearing aid off when it got too crazy, which is probably
what a gangster. Your mom is a gangster, straight up.
Oh my gosh, it would just drive us crazy because then it's when you do that, the conversation's over. And she would just walk out just thug nasty and all. So yeah, it was a trip. My dad was usually the judge, jury, and executioner. The times that my mom would jump in were all just threats, right? I'm calling the police. No, you're not. You're calling the cops. But she would go about and do stuff like that. My dad was the one that would come in and act. And again, this is the 90s, majority of the 90s, early 2000s, where, especially boys getting smacked across the face. And you know what? We needed it. I'm not going to sit here and for once think that my dad abused me or I had a rough, no, my dad, it was all love and it was all correction for both me and my brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think that it's really hard. And this is why I want to be so clear. I'm not condoning or saying anything's okay that's not okay, that goes too far, that becomes abusive, that becomes hurtful for a child, right? Because we've seen that where, unfortunately, with jobs I've had in the past working with kids and families, you can't, there's a way, I think, to do this that's biblical, which is also something that we'll get into too, of your dad was a godly your parents both, and mine too. And so I think a lot of the like stigma around what was happening at that time, also like there are ways now that we do things that I believe are a lot more informed and better. But also with boys, I'm realizing and being humbled all the time, like they need that correction. And a lot of times, father to son, it's like really, really important to have the respect laid out and clear, which I think your dad had with you and your brother.
100%. Yeah. There's it's tough, right? Because I think you're trying to figure it out. I think as kids, you're watching your parents, right? Constantly. You're picking up everything and learning their traits and how they react and how they act with one another, how your dad treats your mom, etc. You're the understanding of family and how your household is ran. You're learning at a young age because that's what you're just watching all the time. So yeah, I think there's a part of that as a kid of like the pressure on my dad, probably of like, what example am I going to take here as far as the avenue? And then, I think, yeah, I don't blame him one bit for, doing the way he did. I think he did the best that he could with two crazy out of control boys at times. I mean, the older we got, I think the less it dialed down because we realized that we're brothers and friends. But there's a big stage where, especially when there's only like a 4-year gap, man, we had bunk beds and we would reenact flips off the bunk bed and have TLC matches. And you don't know what I'm talking about, but people do.
I don't, and I'm really
tables,
okay.
ladders, and chairs, and we would incorporate pillows and just basically have like a massive pillow fight with dudes. Yeah, doesn't sound too exciting, but yeah, just would be insane. Absolutely, just roughhousing it. And would
your parents, like in our house, which I'll get into when it's my turn to share, did you get grounded? Did you get on restriction is what like my mom would call it, like where things would get taken away?
We just wouldn't do stuff. I mean, I was grounded, but again, it was like, how's mom gonna know I left? She got smarter the older I got.
So honest of you, but 100%, I'm still like, what?
100%. So we lived in a condominium, so it's not like I'm on acres of land and I'm running away. I'm literally just going outside to play baseball or throw football around or just go play with the neighborhood kids. Like I'm not leaving the property. I'm just
also, I'm sure your parents
going
needed
outside, and
that
they were like,
not be taken away.
Get the hell out.
To be outside.
Exactly. Get out of the house. So there was that aspect of that. I think later on when I was like getting more responsibilities, like driving and being able to take out the family car and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, that's where
there were things that were taken away.
That's where, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Items are being removed. Your car keys are gone. Like your debit card is gone. It is mine now. And that's the stuff where when you're 15, 16, like that's your life, your cell phone's getting taken away. Mm-hmm. Like that was just, right? They go to bed and they're going to go try to look for it.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, I know. I think it's wild to think about when we were younger, especially like in actually the 90s when like there wasn't these cell phones that were like small and that could like fit in your pocket.
They were
that didn't come till later. Right. I think the currency, which is what I call it a lot with our kids, like what is their currency? Mm-hmm. If I take something away from Sadie, it will not mean the same to Evelyn. It will not mean the same to Cooper, right? So I have to know like what it is that they're valuing enough that what if I take it away, it's gonna help them learn the lesson. Like that is a privilege to have. Like Evelyn, like she loves to have space in her room where she can read, she can do whatever. She gets to have a little bit more freedom than the other kids do because she's older, and like that matters to her a lot. And so if there were disciplinary issues, right, those are the first things to go. Sadie, it's a whole nother batch of things that we have to take away. So like I think for you and your brother, a lot of the time, even with your mom, like when we have conversations now, which she's so far out of parenting you in that way. But I do think she remembers, I didn't have a leg to stand on because like I couldn't see it. I didn't know what was going on all the time. So I trusted that Martin was going to step in and like do what needed to be done.
I'm not going to paint the picture that my mom's a perfect saint.
Was her yelling?
Okay. Because my mom, there was a fine line for...
Scared what you're going to say right now.
Where my dad would be the judge, jury, and executioner, but at certain times where we crossed that line and mom got involved or is just sick of our crap.
Yeah.
And she intervened. And if you think a deaf and blind woman cannot intervene in a situation with two young boys, you are sadly mistaken. Blind people have canes, and those canes fold up, and they have little metal, clips where they go in. And when she doesn't know that thing's full and she's like a Ninja Turtle whipping that thing like a nunchuck,
yeah.
And you're a boy just discovering hair on your legs, That is a torture device. That, I mean,
Yeah.
rough.
She knew
100%.
how to use what she had, for sure.
Right.
Was there yelling in your house?
But we stopped immediately. Half the time, yeah, there was yelling in my house because my mom couldn't hear us.
Yeah. So there's already a level of noise.
But
for
my
you.
house, my house was loud.
Yeah.
And I think in large part because, you know, going back to watching how your parents interact, my dad had to talk loud for my mom to get certain things. You would think they're having domestic disputes half the time, and no, they're just trying to figure out what they're having for dinner. But there were fights, and unfortunately, being in a small house and low income and all that, like you see everything, right? It's there. And my mom can't see me walk into a room, so like, you can't really fault her for.
I mean, even now with your mom, just generally how she has to speak and like how we have to talk, it does our noise level goes up for sure.
So I knew, and it was funny because when we like first started dating, even got married to a point, like I thought that was the norm. I thought that's how we talked. Learned quickly that's not the case, right? That was especially just for my household, and we don't have to be loud all the time. Like there's ways to communicate that are not screaming DEFCON 5 into your ears, but you know.
Yeah, but it's also just what you knew, which is why I think so many couples.
That's all I knew.
Yeah, you only have your experience. So when I'm thinking about the Davis household, had my older sister Lindsay, me, younger brother Gregory, younger brother Max, and then later had 2 step sisters.
Yep.
I do not think that our parents had, I have such a respect now for like, there was a lot of people in the house at all times. So when it was like the 4 of us home, even though there was a big age gap, like you were at our house when Max and Gregory were little, there was a lot going on because you had boys that were in elementary school going through all the things hormonally, all of that stuff. And my dad having to parent them so differently than he parented my sister and I, because if my dad ever raised his voice at all, if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting my dad, his voice is already intimidating. His presence can be intimidating. And so when you then piss him off, if you're stepping out of line, if you're saying something that you shouldn't have, if there's attitude, his voice doesn't even have to be raised a little. It's like half a point, but you know he's serious. And there were times where like my sister and I would look at each other and be like, it's coming, because he would just stop. And then all he had to do was just lift his voice up a little, pull his shoulders out, and like you knew he meant business. My mom, I think moms get a bad rap because we just are known to yell. Our fuse can be so shortened by just the exhaustion of raising kids all day.
Right.
And I think for my mom, she naturally has a shorter temper. I'm not saying that as like a knock on her, but I think she would admit that too. Yeah. I do think that some people are just more prone to that, right? And yelling in our house wasn't happening all the time, but when it did, it was like, oh, okay, we're getting into it. This can be loud.
Entertainment for the night.
It was a lot because 4 kids, at some point, someone's getting in trouble. In the day, it was rare that there wasn't a day where someone didn't do something that would get them in trouble, get them yelled at, get them put on restriction, whatever. Yeah. And so because my sister and I had the years in high school first, and they kind of were figuring that out. And then after that, parenting from 2 different households with my mom and then my dad and my stepmom, there was just a lot of dynamics all the time. And so I think when I look back at it, I told you the first year we got married, I shut down. Like when we're yelling and I can't do it because I feel like I've just lost the battle already. I don't think it's anything against just my own nervous system. I don't like to communicate that way. And so when we decided to then have children, I was like, listen, we're going to need to address this because I don't want our kids to be screamed at. I don't think it's effective. I don't think it actually makes them listen more. I think it just makes them afraid. And I don't want to be fearful in an unhealthy way. I don't want to be feared in an unhealthy way, if that makes sense. Like I had a lot of respect for my dad. I still do. Even as a 33-year-old, if there's something that's on his mind that he has to communicate to me, he can do it without raising his voice because he knows like I'm listening to you. I can hear you. I tend to not hear you when you've lost it. If you've lost control of like your own emotion in our conversation, I'm out. Doesn't matter if it's parents, friends, coworkers, whatever. I cannot deal with that. So I think we both came from such different sides of the spectrum. We had parents that like we were regularly in church. My dad's pastor. We went to a very small, like close community church where like I was parented by my parents, but also other people too. Like if Paula Campbell was in the room, if there were other women in the room that like I was doing something I shouldn't have, they stepped in. Right. This is also part of parenting that I think, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what happened where this became our village of people that was raising children, whether it was in community churches, community groups, or whatever. There was like a trust that you could count on another parent to step in when you couldn't be there. And now that's not there. So we've taken this shift as like a group, a society, a country, whatever, where we don't trust anyone. And so we can't even give that part of parenting where we can kind of not hand it off to someone, but like if I was down the street at a friend's house and like the mom knew my parents, right? Because that was the rule in our house. Like they had to know them. You couldn't just go to whoever's house. I remember we got in trouble at my friend Shelby Jacobson's house. I'll never forget. And her mom was always really cool. And like we thought we could get away with whatever. We couldn't. And I'll never forget, like she called my mom. I didn't even know. I came home and like my mom was like, okay, like Shelby's mom called, you did this, like up to your room. Now that trust is not there anymore. I feel like, because we don't want other people telling us what we should do with our kids. For us, I feel like we teeter this line of like, there was a lot of things our parents did really well that we want to bring into our parenting. But there's also other stuff where I'm like, I think the yelling, I think certain ways of like talking about certain things, those can be left. But what I am going to bring is like, they had rules and they meant them. Like, I think your parents too, like if you missed your curfew, and I remember one time we were supposed to go out the next day, you're like, I don't have the car. The car's gone.
But we're walking to McDonald's.
Right. Like
it's a block away.
But you knew that these things, if you violated the trust, it was gone. Same with my parents. And actually, as an adult, as a 16-year-old, I was like, this is horrible. Why are they doing this to me? They're ruining my life. And then as I've grown, I realized they had to do this.
Yeah.
This is their job. They're not my friend. Yeah. The other part of parenting, we talk about this a lot. Like, our kids are not our friends. I have friends. Yeah. They're not my friends.
There's a lot of parents that struggle with that.
Why do you think that's so hard for them? We hear it a lot, but I wonder what your take is on that.
I think it's no one wants to discipline. No one wants to be the cop. Yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, you want your kid to be, buddy with you, and you guys have same interests, and life's easy, right? Everyone wants the easy route.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like when push comes to shove and you need to drop the hammer sometimes.
No one wants to.
No one wants to.
I don't like to. I don't find joy in disciplining my children in a way where I'm exasperated. Like, biblically, it's like you cannot exacerbate your children by just yelling at them and whatever. That's a biblical principle. Like, that's not how we do it. It doesn't get anywhere. And so to me, I think there's this line that we walk all the time of like, okay, even with the boys, I've had to really trust that, with Cooper, I have to hand it off to you because he's no longer listening, and he's in that part of his brain where he is just the animal part of his brain. All he wants to do is get his way. Yeah. He's going to do whatever. He's going to say whatever. He's going to throw a fit. And usually we have to separate him out from the pack a little bit. No. He's just different than the girls in that way.
He's in the trenches right now.
He is. And his body is changing. Like, I can see the dump of just testosterone, because when he gets mad, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Little Hulk.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, especially when it comes to Coop, all right. So when we had the girls, to me, they were pretty easy. In terms of discipline.
Yeah.
Evelyn, I just need to look at her. I give her one look. She knows. All right, cool. We're done playing games. I'm done. I surrender. We're good. We're kosher. And she's still like that today. Mm-hmm. Sadie, I just have to repeat myself a little bit more.
She needs a lot.
But she gets it.
Yeah, you have to lay it out for her.
She's like, oh, you're serious? Yeah, I am. And then we'll get to a mutual agreement, and she'll knock it off. She's not crazy.
Yeah.
That, I think.
No, but I also think you play with them a lot, right? And part of it's hard.
That's the hard part. Where it's like, where's the line? When are we goofing around? When are we not? Right? Mm-hmm. That, again, they're young, and I'm not gonna hold that over their heads.
We're all figuring it out right now. Yeah.
With Cooper in particular, he's the one where I'm like, that was like the hardest part of having a boy. Is like, I was so scared because now I'm a big softie. I went into having kids wanting a boy, right? We talked about that. Yeah. Wanting a boy to lead this family, right? Righteous hand of the Lord.
And you got 2 girls.
And I got 2 girls. So I became girl dad. Let's play Barbies. Let's put makeup on dad's face. Let's do all these fun activities. And with that, softened me up. I'd probably needed it. That's why God gave me 2 girls, is I needed to get really soft in preparation. And then he flipped the switch and gave me 2 boys. One doesn't speak English right now and just gnaws on everything. But now he's walking, which is very exciting. The other one, he's my work in progress. Good old Cooper James. And I think right now, just to kind of give you an example, the way we discipline is I usually, especially if it's like an issue with you, right? Where you're trying to correct him at first, I back off. It's not going to help if we're both coming at him guns blazing in any situation to try to get him to stop or correct him. So at least what I do, I don't even know if you know this or not, I sit back, right? Pretend I'm not listening, but I'm listening.
Yeah, you're in, but you're not.
And I'm usually not good at selective hearing. But in those situations, I can be watching the World Series and still listen to that conversation. It's crazy. It's a great skill. I'm very proud of it. So needless to say, when that's going on, right, I usually am waiting a couple of times. Like I'll give him a couple times to
a couple, meaning literally 2. We do not
two
go.
Strikes. Listen to your mom, dude. Like, come on, figure it out the first time. Okay, one more time. When it gets to a point where I feel like I need to step in, I look at you and I say,
"It's go time."
I'm intervening now. I am stepping into the role, and I crank it up a little bit. I'm not getting the boxing gloves on. I'm not doing any of that. But there's times where, especially for Cooper, and I think for a lot of boys, you don't have to scream, but you got to get in your face a little bit. And you got to have reality come down of like, hey man, you got to get on my level right now. Like you're up here doing all these things. You're not listening. You're not obeying certain things. I need you to come down and I need you to meet me. And there's a lot of times where I have lost it. I am not the perfect dad, believe it or not. Just because we have a podcast doesn't mean we're perfect.
Yeah, we fail more.
I have failed more than I've gotten this thing right. But what I find myself doing, which I didn't at first, to your point, like when we do discipline and we get to that point of like, you know, losing it or whatever the case may be, we don't want to get there. It's exhausting. I get so tired doing it. I'm like out of breath. Now what I do is I let the dust settle a little bit, right? If I have to go in there, whatever, we come out. I give him a couple minutes and we just need to chill. That's literally the best thing that I have learned is that you just give space and time. Yeah, it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, a short time out. I'm not grounding him for a year.
Yeah.
Just go take a breather, man.
Yeah.
It's in hockey, right? Big hockey kick right now because we got the playoffs coming around. I lost my voice. You lost
This
is
partly
your voice.
why we could not have recorded on Monday because Friday night I went to Ducks game and it
wasn't good. The game was great.
Yeah, we
both lost our voice. Mine was coming back. Then I took the girls last night, lost it again. So that's why I kind of sound like a chain smoker. But where I'm getting at,
yeah, Coop knows you're serious. When you step in, he's like, "Oh, okay."
In hockey, right? You get penalized. You go sit in a box and you're isolated. Go think about the things that you've done for the next 2 minutes or 5 minutes.
Or just like go regulate yourself. We tell them all the time, Cooper, go.
And we're good.
Yeah.
And we're good. And if you when in that situation, you de-escalate it, you nip it in the butt, you go your separate ways. I need a breather because I need to come down from the.
I put myself. What do I say when I've lost my temper? What do I tell people? What do I tell
you're on timeout for 5 minutes.
Mommy's going on a timeout. Mommy, not the kid. Me, because there are moments where I have lost it. I do not have it in me another second to be disrespected, to be told no, to be manipulated by their behavior, and so I'm done. And I will look at you and be like, I'm gonna go in my room and I'm shutting the door and locking it. I will be out in 5 minutes. I need an attitude adjustment. I need to speak to Jesus. I'll be back. Because I also think what happens after with Cooper, most of the time, when you put him in his room, when he's, even if with the door open or whatever, we're not locking him in there. But like, Cooper, you need 2 minutes. You need to go breathe on your bed. When you have calmed down, you can come outside. Half the time, he'll just come apologize to me right away. There doesn't need to be this dramatic scene. And I think a lot of why people are so exhausted parenting their children is because they're just not getting success in what they may think parenting is, which is just you yell at your kids, you tell them what to do. If they don't, there's wrath. If they don't, there's this. It's like, no, I just think kids are also kids. And so him losing it on me doesn't mean he's a bad kid. It means he needs to probably figure out he hit a boundary. He hit something within our household, our rules, the Hoke rules, and he's got to go make that right, whether it's fighting with a sibling or disrespecting me or disrespecting you.
Yeah. I'm not trying to dish out in those situations. And this is, I think, if you're struggling with disciplining a child, it is not about punishment at all. What can I teach my child to correct themselves here? Right.
What's a tool that they can have? Yeah.
What can I do? What are my de-escalations? I know for Sadie, she has FOMO. She hates being separated. When we used to put her on timeout, she would lose it.
She used to bang her head on her crib on her door, on the floor, and I would get so terrified of her, truly. And we would just go pick her up and sit with her until she was done losing it.
It was insane.
That was, I feel like we did a lot of things. What are you specifically thinking
Took
of?
her out of the separate room that she was in.
Yes, that's true.
And we put her with her sister.
Yeah, they shared a
A
room.
lot changed.
Yeah. She absorbed all that goodness from Evie.
So that tells me she had like some form of separation
I think
anxiety
she also
to
feared,
a point.
Yeah. When we tried to get her to sleep in a separate room, have whatever things that were so separated from what she felt like the whole family was doing or what Evie was doing. Is she still like that where she's like, oh, I feel left out.
She's got FOMO.
And I'm going to lash out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's her currency.
Yeah.
Now you know what's really going to get your kids' attention.
Yeah.
Right? For Cooper, what's Cooper's? Cooper's is he's got a little bit of FOMO too when it comes to just being included.
Middle kids have it.
Oh my
for
gosh.
Sure.
Oh my gosh.
In a way where Evie's like, if you separate her, she's like, bye guys. See you later.
You got my stash of books
in
in here. Oh, talk to you for hours too.
You're gonna leave me alone.
Punish me for a week.
Yeah, totally different. Well, I think and I'm glad you brought up Sadie because I was talking to Heather, and she wouldn't mind me sharing this at all. But
You're just giving shout outs tonight.
Shout outs. I know.
Jeez.
And she has, oh my gosh, one of my favorite humans on earth, Olivia, is so like our Sadie. So similar.
A clone, a little bit darker, but she's a clone.
She is just, oh my gosh, she is like the best of both of them. I think it's great, but she's feisty and she tells you when she wants things and when she doesn't like things you're doing or whatever. And so we're having this conversation of like, we love that our girls have such a like confidence about them. Sadie's like this too. And she was like this even at Olivia's age too, where they know what they want and they know what they don't want. And it's really a gift when your child has that in them, but it's really hard to steer it. And it's really hard to not diminish that. It's hard to keep Sadie. She's never going to be like Evelyn. She's never going to be like, she is her own person. Yeah. To put the expectations you have of an older sibling, of a different sibling, of another kid is so unfair because they are who they are. I think you can steer them the best you can and you nurture the parts of them that need extra love and attention and all the things. But one thing I was telling Heather was like, it's really hard when we set out to be calm. We set out to have a good day. We start the day with like, all right, Lord, I'm going to go. We have all these things going on. I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to take a breather if I need to. And it can escalate so fast. And so with Sadie's and Olivia's and all these kids that also are very sensitive, because Sadie can be wild, but man, if you hurt her feelings, it goes deep.
Yeah, she shut. I mean, she gets that's another tricky part with Sadie is that when she gets disappointed or hurt, she is shutting down. She is system reboot.
Yeah. And it's hard for her to reset herself.
She's getting better at it, but it used to be pulling teeth trying to get her out of, hyperventilating.
And I think in those moments, what we tried that didn't work, which if you have a kid where you're like, why are I can't even get them to just breathe. I can't even get them to just settle. I had to like physically just hold her and kind of wait that wave out with her and then it would pass. And
still do.
There's times where she's like that.
Like just grab her hand and just eye contact.
Yep. Sadie,
she's getting a lot better when she's getting older, but she does still do that.
Yeah. And she's had great teachers and other adults in her life that know that about her and that can love her through that. But it's hard when you're the parent, when you're the primary one that's giving all that care. And then times that by 4. I think people that have multiple children, and if they have as many as we do or more, you're dishing that out 4 separate ways. It does not copy paste.
Yeah, it's all different.
And so that part of using our brains to kind of figure out the currency, which is kind of our lingo for like, okay, Evie's currency is this, Sadie's is this. What can we not hold over them and lord over them, but like, what can I do that's going to allow them to understand like, yeah, that's a privilege that you get to do that. And you're not doing that right now.
Yeah. So currency is for our kids, because I'm curious to see if we're on the same page. I think with Evelyn, it's what?
Her currency?
Yeah.
If you take away her social time, she's not good with that.
So
she's a people person.
Yeah. Okay. So
you're skipping this event. Right. She's not cool with that.
Yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
Sadie's.
Being alone.
Yeah.
Being isolated, feeling embarrassed.
She
cannot
Yeah.
If you reprimand that girl in front of others, you have to take her aside. Embarrassment's huge with her and Cooper.
Yeah.
And I think in a way where Evelyn can handle correction, not that we intend to do it this way, but like I could say something to Evie in front of other people. She doesn't get embarrassed. Sadie takes that seriously. So separation for her,
What about
for
Coop?
sure. I think separation too. And also like Cooper does not like, if he's not done with something and we have to be done, the transition of like moving from one activity to the next is hard for sure. But I think taking away from Cooper, like playtime, is huge.
But I think on top of that too, I think out of all the kids, Cooper especially, he's young. Items,
toys,
like, hey, dude, you're not
getting. You can't go outside and play with.
You're not getting your game for, a week, a day, whatever the case.
Getting this toy taken
you're losing your
away,
iPad on the weekends, like whatever. That I think affects him to his core. And then Cam would be, we take away his bottle.
Cam's perfect right now.
No food for you.
He's learning how not to bite. That's wild because he's teething, so he's chewing and everything. But yeah, we have different things. And I think if you're listening and thinking like, I don't know what that is for my kid, get curious.
It's okay too.
It's okay not to know yet, but also watch them because you'll see what their big emotional reactions to are usually the thing that usually leads you to that.
It's a good watch your kids.
Watch them.
It's one thing to say, I'd do that. It's another to actually like jump into it and analyze and break down. And it's all trial and error too.
Yeah.
You're not going to know until you do something, until you take something away and they're just going to lose it. And you're going to realize that's
the thing.
That is where I have control.
Yeah. And it's a tool, I think, that you only use when you have to. I'm not using that every day on my children. I'm not using it against them, but I know that certain things are going to upset them. So I'll warn them like, hey, we have a birthday party this weekend and it's a privilege to be able to go and do those things. If our behavior is not lining up with this guy's, like we're not gonna go. And we've had to do that where we've not gone.
You think mom and dad want to go to a birthday party?
I know, another birthday party or whatever it is. But I think a lot of that stuff, you kind of remind them like, hey, you have these things coming up and like they're not givens.
The parties were huge. Coop just had a friend's birthday party a couple weeks ago. And there were certain points where it's like, dude, do you want to go? Because you're flirting with
you're gonna miss
us
out.
Texan, and it was.
And again, it's the fear of missing out thing.
Immediately,
yeah, for sure, sure. I think one of the other things that I want to cover too is like, I don't think we do this perfectly. Our kids definitely don't do it perfectly, but they understand if we mess up. Like, let's say, like my conversation with Heather and a lot of the conversations we have with friends, like temper out the window. Kids yelling, you're yelling, siblings are yelling, screaming at each other, whatever it is. And like, we've lost control of the situation. What is the Hoke house rule of after that happens, what happens next? What would you say? Tempers out the window, kids are yelling, we're yelling. What do we do after? What happens if
we run and we hide and we never come back?
Mommy goes on timeout.
No, so like we have our blow up, right? Nuclear bomb goes off.
This is not a regular occurrence, but when it does happen.
It happens every Friday, I can tell you. And so bomb goes off, we lose it, we all go our separate ways, dust settles. We come back together and we make sure that whoever is the issue here, that there is some type of ownership and apology.
And repair.
To the entire thing. We are not moving on until we nip this. And it's done. If you need to go back in your room and process this for another 15, 20 minutes, that's fine. Go for it.
But we're acknowledging that, like, that got crazy.
Hey, man, you hit the button, right?
Yeah.
Please don't do this again because this takes a lot of energy. And we could have resolved this
with just words and, like, less less drama. Yeah. The theme for this whole thing, I think, for us is I have my baseline of just like the amount of human beings that I deal with on a daily basis if I didn't leave this house. I have 5 other people. I have you and I have my 4 kids. We all have 5 people that we are handling everyone's emotions at all times. I never get to really do less than 5. Even if I leave, it's like I'm still dealing with whatever they're going through that day. So I can't just lose it. I can't expect my kids to be emotionally healthy, handling their emotions well, speaking well, if I can't do it. So if I don't have it in check, I cannot then expect my kids to have that in check. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Again, mommy goes on timeout sometimes, but I do think there's been this understanding with you and I of like, we do our best to manage everyone's emotions in this house with a lot of grace and understanding, but a lot of repair when we get it wrong. That is the biggest thing. If you lose it, you're having a bad day. You can't stand your sibling breathing the same air as you, whatever
I get it, man.
it is. I get it too. My
6
mom would be
people
like,
in here.
just stay away from each other. It's like, no, because you really do get sick of each other
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's okay. It's part of family. It's part of growing up. But you can't just leave it like that. And so some families like, oh, they hug it out or they do this. Like, no, we just go make it right.
Well, I think, again, going back to when we were talking about how the parents that just want to be like friends with their kids, right? There's really not discipline. I really don't take things away. I'm not backing my word, right? When I tell you to do something, I'm not drawing that line. I'm basically just removing it and keep pushing it further and further and further out and kind of just ignoring it, right? So those parents probably in these situations too, nuclear bomb goes off and they just want to forget about it.
Yeah.
They just want to be like, go to your room and I won't see you till dinner and we're just not going to talk about it. And it's like that doesn't do anything.
No.
Because what you're telling your kids is what? I can do this. And is the repercussions like, I don't have to talk to it. So cool.
And
I can do this. I'm not losing anything.
Yeah. And I do think like, even for you and I, from like people that have been married for 12 years, we have arguments. We try to minimize the amount of time that our kids ever see us in an argument, but it happens. I am really intentional since we were in therapy and really doing a deep dive, and all of our communication had to be overhauled and we had to start from square one again. If I'm in the wrong and we then make it right with each other, I make sure the kids see the repair. I make sure they see, hey, which this happens usually it's always in the morning or on our way to church. I don't know. The devil's just got a hold on the mornings. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
but
you take your shots early.
If I wake up, there's just a lot. The ecosystem that needs to be around me for me to get up, and I got to do all these things.
Whatever you got to tell yourself.
I know, honestly, but I will lose it usually when it's like I'm trying to get kids ready for church, school, whatever, and like no one's cooperating with me.
Chaotic.
I have to go to you then and say, I'm so sorry that I lost my temper. I'm sorry I got upset. Please forgive me for speaking to you that way. That was not respectful or kind. Whatever it is, I'm sorry. And we'll hug. It's okay, babe. I know you're stressed out. I'm sorry that the kids did this. I'm sorry I wasn't awake yet. I'm sorry, whatever. The kids are seeing what that looks like without them being told this is how you do it.
Right.
So you just do it and let them catch you repairing something.
Yeah.
If it's with each other, if it's with a friendship, if it's with them.
There's also times too where, and I'm sure you're the same way, if I'm disciplining Cooper, for example, right? Because this will probably happen tomorrow. I'm disciplining Cooper. The girls are out here. I'm yelling. A lot of the times too, we might come into a situation, right? We don't know who threw the first punch. Sadie is wild. And Sadie does do that. Sadie will
they blame each other.
Sadie will drop the gloves and take the initial hit, and they get hit back and say, hit me, right?
Yeah.
No one saw the first punch. Everybody sees the second.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, right, coming in here, I'm thinking I'm understanding Sadie, and I'm thinking she has something to do with this fight, right? Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. But sometimes I make the mistake of just blaming everybody.
Yeah.
Like right out of the gate, I'm like, Evie, it's your fault because you're sitting there and you didn't stop this and you're bigger than both of them and you could have done this and
you guys know better.
Right.
Yeah.
But finding myself again, once that settles down, doesn't take that long. Once we come back down, like usually going up to my girls and saying, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm sorry daddy got there. Like I don't want to. Shouldn't have done that. There's probably a whole bunch of different ways I could have done this better, but I'm sorry that you had to see that, and I'm telling you that's not right.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing with Coop. I'll even pull him aside and after disciplining him, be like, hey, I love you, man. Like, I'm only doing this because you did wrong, and this is what you did wrong.
Yeah.
And as long as you're owning it and you know that, we're good.
Yeah. I think that it's hard for people to understand healthy correction, discipline, when that understanding hasn't been healthy with what was passed down to them. Meaning, if you had a mom or dad who didn't handle this part well, all you've known is it not being handled well. And so what are you going to expect to come out of you?
Same thing.
The same thing that was poured into you. So the only way to get out or change what was happening when you were a kid, to not transfer on your kids, is to be very aware of how you grew up, which is why we spend so much time talking about it. There's a lot of understanding of like, I grew up with parents that had a lot of disabilities and things and whatever. And I had parents that were very spirited and like to talk and yell and whatever. And it wasn't all bad, but like, here's what I'm taking with me and here's what I'm leaving behind. And I think the biggest encouragement I can give to every person who hears this is like, it's not meant to be an easy road. Parenting children at all ages and stages, I think, is going to be challenging in different ways. It'll become easier maybe in some ways when they start to find their words. That's a big change that we're experiencing with Cooper right now. Is like he can communicate a lot better than he did 2 years ago. We're in way different territory.
Yeah, the conversations go, or the issues go from, hey man, why are you not sharing that toy with your sibling? To fast forward to, Evelyn in 6 years. It's 9 o'clock and you're not home.
Yeah.
Completely.
Different issues.
Same consequences, right? Maybe ramped up a little different, and their currency is probably going to change by then.
Yep.
Like ultimately same result. Like still having these all right, how do I process this? How do we handle this type of reality?
And it changes all the time.
Yeah.
And we're aware that like, oh man, we're realizing
it evolves with age, for sure.
It does. And we're having Evelyn be our first guinea pig, trying to get it right. We don't have a lot of correction with her. And so I feel like Sadie is the one where we're like, oh, you're a lot more sensitive, or we have to give you a lot more correction and guidance or whatever in a way that we didn't have to give Evelyn. And it's all fine. It's just a big learning curve. And I feel like the more that you can just forgive yourself when you get it wrong, because I need to forgive myself first. It's really hard when we carry those things as a parent. Our child is like Dory from Finding Nemo. In 5 minutes, they're not even going to remember what you said. And I will spend the entire car ride after drop off thinking, oh my gosh, what if they carry that one thing I said to them that wasn't kind this morning around all day, and it ruins their day? And what if they're depressed all day and they think I don't love them? I go on this spiral, and really I'll pick them up from school and be like, I'm so sorry, guys. The morning was so rough. I missed you. Blah, blah. And they're like, you're fine, Mom. We're harder on ourselves than they are. 100%. And they have so much grace and so much patience and understanding, even though I don't know how that's all that way, but it is. And my kids are really okay with like, Mom, I know you lost it. Thanks for apologizing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Let's move on.
And they want to move on.
Right.
And so move on, like allow that to be a lesson and don't do it again, and try to not beat yourself up along the way. We could spend so much time talking about this, but I feel like those are our big things. It's like the repair piece of it all is so important. When we don't get it right, I constantly am like, all right, Lord, I need an extra dose today of patience, understanding, of discernment. If the Lord came back today and looked at the way I parented my kids, I want to be able to say I did the best I could. I tried to not allow my temper or my emotions get the best of me. I tried to parent out of wisdom. I tried to parent out of not wanting to be their friend, but to be their parent. All those things. And if you could do those things, then I think your kids are going to, yes, there's going to be bumps along the way, but I think
there's going to be a lot of bumps. There's going to be a ton of days where you suck at this. That's okay.
Moments of the day that are hard. The whole day doesn't have to be a wash.
The growth is, all right, what can I do better as a parent? How can I address this differently? What are different things I can do? How is my child reacting? Actually, like watching them, like we talked about, and actually following through on these stuff.
Yeah.
Like
create boundaries for real.
When you're first doing it, when like the older they get,
it's
not fun. The first couple of times though, when you're doing it, it is tough to like put your kid on timeout for the first time. You shut that door and all you want to do is bust it down to be like, I forgive you. I'm so sorry. We can have all the candy in the world. And it's like that. You have to do the little things to strengthen this foundation so that they get it. They will appreciate that so much more later on in life.
Yeah.
When they're older and you guys are having conversations like this, right? When we're having the grandkids over and we're having time with our older kids at that point.
Yeah. Like
that is going to mean so much more to me than
they were nice. They let me do whatever.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm okay with not being liked in the moment if it means being respected later on.
Yeah. Right.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I genuinely do not get sad over like Sadie was like, Mom, she was so visibly upset with me the other day. And I went in her room and was like, I could feel that you're upset. I really want to leave you alone, but I don't understand. Can you explain to me like what'd
you do?
What's happening? She wanted to wear something to school that wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, she does it a lot. Not the whole inappropriate thing, but she's a fashionista.
She does, and like it was too much that day.
If she picks out an outfit and you say no, she says
she's mad.
WTF?
She's mad.
Right.
She's her own person. I get it. I was that kid too. So I went in and I was like, Sadie, I know this is what you want to wear. I see it. on your face that you're disappointed and I'm really sorry. We have to leave in 2 minutes. So you need to make another choice. I'm going to let you pick something else to wear. And I need you to come out of that room with the attitude left behind. I'm not dealing with the attitude today. I'm sorry you're disappointed. I shut the door. She came out and she was fine. But she needed to like show me she was upset. She told me why she was upset. I think it's stupid. I can't wear this when other girls get to wear this. Okay, well, they're not my kid. You're my kid.
Get it off your chest.
And it's okay.
Right.
Like, say it. I can handle it. I know you love me and I love you. Like, it's all cool. But that's hard in the moment. And I know it's really hard, especially for moms, to feel like we're not liked. But I'm not. I'm
moms,
okay.
man.
I'm okay with it.
Crazy
as
moms.
It's coming in these little increments of the attitude and them wanting their way and whatever. I'm just having to surrender that because I can't always dwell on it. Parenting's hard, and it's made a lot easier when you have good language and understanding about what you're doing. I have a whole book list that I'm actually going to be posting of all the things that have really helped me. There's a lot of parenting books out there. There's advice, there's TikTok, there's all this stuff. But the ones that I've really spent a lot of time reading and then reading again and going through, I'm going to post. So I'm going to do that.
Sweet.
Do you have a rapid fire for me? And is it PG?
Bet your ass I do.
Okay.
Is it PG?
Let me take a big sip.
I don't know if I put this in the...
How many?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I have like 20 questions and I'm only going to pick like 5 of them as I scroll. So
okay. Rapid fire. I will do no commentary.
I'm going to need a little commentary because I need to scroll and then pick another one. So like, just keep it in like the 2-sentence range. Okay. Because I know you like to talk. All right. Where's my first doozy? Here we go. What's a rule in our house that you never bend on? Who's getting the stick, regardless?
My big thing is like when we eat dinner, breakfast, any meal, if someone is not taking care of their area, meaning they're not clearing their plate, they left trash, they threw their stuff across the counter, I will go to them and say, you got to fix that. Sorry, clear your plate. Mom, I'm happy to do the dishes, but I'm not going to grab everyone's dishes and throw trash away. Feet.
And my kids hardly do this, but they do occasionally. Like Coop did the other night. You talk to her in prayer.
You get triggered.
About it's coming. It triggers me. You can't give
the Lord respect.
10 seconds.
I know. Just
hold your breath. I'll be done.
Yeah, him and Sadie are not great at that.
No,
we're working on it.
We're getting better.
Okay,
we're getting better. All right, question number 2. That's too much detail. Sorry. Is it harder to discipline in public or at home?
In public, for sure. People are watching me, and I'm sweating.
Yeah.
And I feel like my kids.
Where's the worst place?
Target. Freaking Target. Are you serious?
Can you imagine disciplining your child in Target and then getting like the black card banned?
Okay. I was at Target.
Every day you're at Target.
Okay.
So you're going to need a little
one
bit
of
more
the days
specific.
I was at Target and I had the cart, the Titanic cart, where like you have the 2 kids and then the cart.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have so many kids. Pushing this thing through, trying to get through. And Cooper decided he was going to jump ship and just jump off the cart. He knocked down a whole display.
He pulled a jack and just jumped off?
I don't know what came over him. He just decided, oh, this looks fun. He jumped off and I didn't even know what to do, that people were staring at me. And so I'm like, okay, I had a quick second of like, okay, how do I correct him without embarrassing him? And I literally scooped him up and just like, I had to leave this. I just felt so embarrassed. I think doing that with people watching you, because you know people judging you.
I know this is not my rapid fire, but this is kind of fun going back and forth here.
Mm-hmm.
I get like Hood Danny and like lock in with my kid. So it's usually Cooper, right? When we're in public. And I'll turn the hat backwards and I get eye level with this kid and I say, sober up now or it's over. Something to that effect. And he usually gets it. But there's times too where he doesn't. And I'm just like
when you bend
trying to get to the car as soon as possible where the cameras can't see me in the parking lot. And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
It's very difficult though in public because you are
being scrutinized. It's hard not to judge people in public. I do it sometimes when people are not disciplining their kids. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, where are you?
Right. But like,
yeah,
to that degree,
less than I do, for sure.
To that degree, I also feel like, to your point, people are always watching. Like, they're going to watch this move I make here.
Yeah.
And am I going to be that dad for the next 10 minutes that like lost his cool walking around Target and everyone's giving me the side eye? Like, no, I don't want to be that guy.
True.
It's very difficult.
Last one.
Off my soapbox. Last one. I'm in charge here. Last one. I haven't even got to the spicy section left. So here we go. Which one of your kids gets away with the most? Yep. And I will fact check you on this.
Probably Cooper. I have such
a... Yeah, I agree.
He also gets in trouble the most. So like,
that's part of the problem because you love him too much. Trying to be his friend.
Moving on.
It's all right. No more questions, Your Honor. No, I got a few more. Have you ever punished the wrong kid? We talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, the group parenting style is I'm not a fan. When you punish the whole group, it's not fair. Don't do it.
Who's a stricter parent, you or me?
Is that a real question?
Would like you to answer
I
this
think
for the
it's
audience.
me.
The stricter parent?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely
who
me.
like at their level, who turns it on more?
You turn it on more,
Right.
but I feel like across the board, I live in that zone.
You do.
If they know.
Yeah.
They know.
You fight for diplomacy, and I am the,
When
heavy
you have
artillery.
to get called in, they're like, oh, shoot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
Last one.
Oh my God.
Last one.
Okay.
Last one. Because these are good. These are so good.
Okay.
And ChatGPT just provides
What
so
you
much
need.
knowledge.
Okay.
Who has the shorter patience fuse between you and me? See, I disagree.
Oh, you think it's you?
I think it's me.
I think we're both.
There's times
we're both
where
short tempered, but we're hard on ourselves.
there's times.
I have a lot of patience.
Yes.
And then once you hit that,
I'm gone.
so maybe it is you.
I'm like a bottle
Let's
rock.
say it's you.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for
You
agreeing
could
with
take
me.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
But again, it comes to where I was raised. Right? I'll blame my mom and my dad. I'm a very reactive kid.
Yeah.
That's been something I've been struggling with. You
You're
say
very
something to me, and
reactive. I'm responsive.
let's go.
Meaning I internalize a lot and I think a lot, and then I say, and then you react to something, and then you repair later. You ask for forgiveness.
I'll
later.
knock the wall down, and then I'll build it back
and
up.
I'm like, how can we make sure to not do that? I know,
because we just wasted 6 seconds
We're a
trying to
good
figure
pair.
out that situation.
We're a good pair because we're like that, I think.
We are a good pair.
I think forgiveness and repair are the biggest parts of discipline, parenting, marriage, all of it. Because if you can't get that right, and you just don't, when you get it wrong and you fail and you can't just acknowledge that, it just goes south really fast. So I think discipline's a huge topic, and I'm feeling like we shared a lot of our things that we've gone through that worked and some that we struggled, but I think we're doing the best we can, and I will post the book list.
Yeah.
I think people
excited for that.
might want to read or listen to audiobooks.
All you book people. I'm not one
All
of
the
them.
book people.
Tell me when the movie's out.
If you like books, you should comment. Are you a book person?
God bless you, because I am not. I need
again why you need me.
series 1, 2, and 3 in a movie.
You need a quick little video or something.
I do.
All right. Well, I love you, and I love our kids, even though they drive me nuts sometimes, and I do feel like it can feel like a lot.
Points in the day. Yeah.
But
I would make it through.
And I am going to do it again tomorrow. Best job I've ever had.
Dude, let me start the clock right now, and I will single-handedly report how much time it took for you to not lose it. Like, what's the window?
Oh my gosh, no, don't.
You know how they have like those incident reports? So it was like,
0 days
20 days since somebody died. We'll do that for you.
All right, babe. Well,
good talk.
I love you.
Love you too. This is why we're late.